Morning, everybody. Welcome to another round of coffee and questions, right? Or you're late in the day, your favorite beverage and questions. What are we going to talk about today? Let's talk about magnet pickup tools. Now, on the last video, we talked about the larger one out at Harbor Freight. I'll show you a quick picture. Okay, today let's talk about the smaller one. I'll show you an ad real quick. Okay, so you can see it's about $5 and it has a lot of the same exact complaints. The magnet is real weak, people feel, and I belong to a couple of forums, and like I tell you in my videos, a club where we do show and tell. Anyway, out at the club, I had a chance to pick it up, play around with it, because there are a few people out there that have bought this particular pickup tool. And they all agree with one thing. You know, the magnet's weak. Some of them say it's a kind of a junk tool, and they kind of carry on about it. And so I played around with it, you know, the telescoping on it, the magnet itself. What do I think? Yeah, the magnet is very weak on it. And the telescoping part, it's okay, but it's got some flaws in it that people say, like, look, when you telescope, the whole thing can come off real easily on you because it's made out of such a thin material. And the head, the magnet itself falls off real easily. So a lot of them say they would never buy it again. But we're sitting around and a couple of the guys out there had some, comments to make about it. So let me go through those with you. Okay, the first thing is it can pick up 15 pounds. There's no way. Okay, now I was out at the Harbor Freight store and I would tell you before you buy it, get it home and criticize it, go ahead and play around with it out there. It's not going to pick up 15 pounds. I mean, there's no way. You might be able to get it, like, let's say, to pick up about 1 pound. That's just the truth. The magnet is weak. It extends and contracts. It's almost like a radio antenna. But like I said, it is made out of a very flimsy material. So you're going to have to use a little bit of care, so that you don't bend it, break it, or have it come apart on you. I mean, I agree with that. And one of the club members says the other thing on this is that rubber handle part, it slips off real easily. Now, I don't consider that a deal breaker. You could have put a drop of glue on there or put a little wrap of tape or something and slide it back on there, and then that would have fixed that problem. But, they critique these tools into the ground out at the club and on the forum. So, like I said, it's not a deal breaker. It's an easy fix. What's the size of the magnet? It's 5/8 by 1/8 of an inch is what I wrote down. So it is kind of small. Now, there are other things that you can do. One of the club members has some additional smaller magnets, laying around at home. You can buy them off of Amazon, and I'm not saying you should have to do this. You shouldn't. You're buying the tool for it to perform, like to what it's telling you in the advertisement, but that's not true. But you can add with just a drop of epoxy or something, another magnet onto the one that's there, and then therefore it'll make the tool more powerful and more useful. So that is an easy fix. Or you might have one laying around at home. Now I do, because a long time ago, I had bought a series of these little round magnets, to use on different projects. So, you might have them, like I said, laying around. If you don't, you can buy them off Amazon. One of the club members had said, yeah, but look, it's got a lot of 5-star ratings. Okay, but I've told you in past videos, companies hire people to write reviews. So they're going to do one of two things: write a whole bunch of these 5-star reviews, or they'll write those and then they also pay people to say bad things about their competitor. Now, I'm not accusing Harbor Freight of doing anything like that, but it's very obvious when you read some of these. These are people that probably just don't have the tool, probably have never picked it up, and they're just writing to get paid from, writing reviews. That's what they do. They just write reviews randomly. Okay, now one of the club members had showed me with it the side of the magnet itself. You got the magnet on the pickup tool. It is not magnetized, the side. So you got to be directly on top of what it is you're trying to pick up to use it. Not a bad thing. You just have to be aware that this is one of the limitations and you can work around it. How collapsible is it? Well, when you have it like all the way down, it's about the size of a pencil, let's say. So It fits in your pocket. I mean, you can carry it around if that's what you were asking. Somebody had asked that in one of the forums. That's a hard thing to answer. I would tell you just to pick up the tool when you're out at Harbor Freight and make the determination yourself while you're trying to pick up objects with it to see if it's really what you want. Okay, so overall, would I tell you to buy it? I would tell you it's probably worth $3. I wouldn't pay $5 particularly. The other thing is understand some of the fixes. And if you don't want to do those, I'm going to give you a couple of suggestions here off Amazon. Now, I got mine off Amazon, and I'll leave you the links on everything that we're talking about. But let me do a quick demonstration for you on the difference. Now, I didn't buy the one from Harbor Freight because I had a chance out at the club to demo it and play around with it. But I'll show you the one that I got. Let's do a quick demo, and I'll show you what the difference is. Because truthfully, I'm not a mechanic, and I'm not an auto technician, but if you are, you want something much stronger than the one that Harbor Freight sells, because you're in that kind of a field where if you drop something down into an engine bay or something and you got to fish it back out, I'm not so sure the one from Harbor Freight is going to make you very happy using it, because it's not going to want to pick it up, or you're going to have these difficulties, and then you're going to get Okay, let's move on. Let me show you the one that I have, and let's do a couple of demonstrations. The one that I have, it's just a generic kind of brand one. Now this one has got an articulating head on it. Okay, I can move this and bend this in lots of different directions, which if you're a mechanic or somebody that's doing a lot of work where you drop things, that's something that you may want to consider. You want something that articulates, and then it extends out, and it's got a decent reach on it. Okay. So let's go ahead, let's do a couple of tests. Okay, first test, here's a socket right here. Just set it over here. Will the pickup tool, if I drop my socket down into an engine bay, pick it up? Let's see. And I'm going to articulate this down a little bit. Yep, seemed to work pretty good. Now I can't get aggressive with this. There we go. And the sides have some magnetism on it, so you can see. Not a lot, because it has that protective plastic over it, but it does. There's magnetized on the side, unlike the Harbor Freight one. So this works pretty good for picking up a socket. So look at that. Try something different. You dropped your screwdriver down into that engine bay and you can't reach it. Okay. Same thing. There you go. It picks it right up. Okay, let's try something else. Try wire cutters. Now they're a lot heavier, I will tell you that. I can feel they're going to want to drop off. See, I can feel it slipping. So those are pretty heavy. Okay, so let's try one more thing. Here's the wire cutters again. Now, this is a pair I used in the last video. These are Klein lineman's pliers. These are heavy. So I don't expect it to pick it up, but let's just do it as a test. It won't. It's too heavy. But for something up to these wire cutters, if I go slow and I'm kind of gentle, it'll pick them up. Again, it's just a simple magnetic reaching tool with, this telescope. It is better than the Harbor Freight one, and you are going to pay more for it. The thing is, you're going to pay more for it now, or you're going to pay more for it later, probably, because if you really need something that's going to function well, you want something better, maybe than the one out at Harbor Freight. Before I conclude, I gave you a couple of tips. Should you have to do those things? No, the tool should come, totally functional. It should do what it's advertised. But if you have it, you can't take it back. Like one of the club members says, I'm just going to throw it out. I go, you're not going to throw it out. The telescoping part on the Harbor Freight one that slipped off, put it back in there, put a little bit of epoxy around it. Now it's fixed, yes, but okay, that kind of solved that problem. And no, like I said, you shouldn't have to do it. The magnet on the end is that weak. You can actually stack another magnet there, and as long as you don't stack them any taller than they are width and diameter, you can increase the magnetic strength. So you don't have to take one off. You can just take and glue another one on there, or one that's a little bit bigger. you don't have to buy the exact size off Amazon. But like I said, I'm going to leave you links on all this stuff in the description below. I've showed you pictures of how these people worked around it out at the club that do own it. Okay, that's all I got for this video. I'm the Home Handyman. I hope you click subscribe. I hope you keep following me. I will see you on the next video. You folks have a great day. See you again soon. Bye-bye.